Good day, Unilorites, and you're welcome once again back to Ojibra Academy YouTube channel. Yeah, thank you for your subscription, for the comment on the previous videos that we have made, your likes and everything. We appreciate you, and we promise that we'll always bring you information that will benefit you academically and news that it concerns academics in general. Concerning the video that we made the last time, which concerns Siwes, and I promised to make another video on how to write Siwes reports. So this is the concluding part of it. So this video will be centered on how to write Siwes reports. But before I go into that, I'd like to congratulate the set of graduates that just graduated from the University of Ilorin, the 2021 and 2022 sets, and I wish them that a better life in their next phase of life. So having said that, concerning Siwes report, Siwes report is a kind of report that you are writing based on the experience you gained when you are doing your 6 month training called Siwes. So this report is not something you are copying from somewhere, or you are not doing review on what someone said, or practical report. No, you are telling us the experience you gained and how exactly were those things done when you did it. So the reason why I'm saying this is that you are not copying anybody. You are not writing from a textbook. You are writing exactly what you can remember and how exactly those things were done standardly. So now, to start with, we have different parts in the report, and there are some certain things that each part must contain, because this is your first academic paper, even if it will not be published. But technically, this is your first academic paper that you are writing. Now we have like 5 parts in the report. We have the first part, which is the preliminary pages. We have the chapters, which starts from chapter 1, chapter 2, then chapter 3 and 4 together, then chapter 5. So what each part contains is what we are actually explaining in this video. You may know what to write, but you may not know where exactly to put those details. So let me start with the preliminary pages. For the preliminary pages, these are the first pages. You will discover that those pages will be numbered in Roman numerals, not normal numbers. The Roman numeral is what you use to number those pages, so they are called preliminary pages. So the first one there is either you call it title page or cover page, or you call it front page. Some people call it front page, you can call it title page or the cover page. In that page, you have your name, you have the matric number, you have the name of where you did your Siwes and other things. So you have it like that. You can see the way it displays on the screen, on your screen like that. So that is just called the front or title page. That's number one. Number two, we have the certification page. In that page, you are certifying or telling us that you have undergone the 6 month serious training. You just write that hi, so your name with so matric number with so department certifies that I hereby undergo the 6 months training in so place from so time to so time. You are certifying that you have done the COS. So in that page, we have signatories, your supervisor, your HOD, and you yourself. You provide a space where the three of you will sign. So the next page is your report overview. That one is not really compulsory. You may decide to put, or you may not put it, but as it is recommended in the COS logbook, report overview is there. So you just put it. There's no harm in putting it. So in the overview, you're just talking generally about what is in the logbook. We call it overview. Just telling us everything in the logbook, like summarize everything that okay, these are contained in this report about so and so. Just put it together like that. That's what we are writing in that page. Report overview. Then after report overview, you have acknowledgement. You want to show appreciation to people, probably those that stood by you during the course of the training, maybe your supervisor at your place of establishment, like where you did your civil, the supervisors there, or any other person you want to give thanks to. You are allowed as many as you want to write names, you can write. So down the side, and after that one, they will have the table of content. That's the most important page, one of the most important page rather. So that page is actually telling us what is contained and where it is exactly contained in that book. Okay, so thing will be found in so page. You know how table of content looks like. So make sure you arrange. And I advise that you do your table of content last, because as you are writing those reports, you don't really know which page some things will fall on until you are done. So after you are done, then you can now do the table of content when you know the pages in which those particular details exactly fall into. So that's for table of content. Then, there's no way you write Siwes reports without diagram. You have to back your points up with diagrams. Most especially those that do it in companies, the equipment you use, you have to draw it out as you explain what they are being used for. So it is important that there is a page in which all those um, figures and diagrams, you leave a page like immediately after table of content, the list of figures should come. That so as you are writing your report, the more you come across diagram, the more you list them. Okay, fig 1, fig 2, fig 3 to the last one. So in that list of figures, you just write fig 1. What is in fig 1? You just write is fig 1, which is probably thermometer, for instance, is in page. So like the same way you wrote your table of content. That's how you put your list of figures together. So those are what is contained in the preliminary page. So immediately after your preliminary page, you have your chapter 1, the first chapter. Chapter 1 will be the same for everybody, because your chapter 1, it is how to write, this is how to number chapters. Chapter 1 is introduction. Chapter 1, introduction, but it is 1.0. There are chapter 1, 1.0, introduction. So you are introducing a lot of things under that. So in introduction, you have background of Siwes, you have objective of Siwes. Those are the two things under chapter 1, which you call introduction, because you are just getting into the report. So you have to introduce first. Now, the two things under introduction, you will now number it as 1.1, background of Siwes, 1.2, aims and objective of Siwes. That's how you number it. So that's background of Siwes. You are talking about when Siwes was established, when it came on board. That it will be the same thing for everybody. It's always the same thing because the story will not change. It's the same thing. Now, the aims and objective too is the same thing. What is the aims and objective of Siwes? You can copy that anywhere. Everybody will actually write the same thing for chapter 1 generally. Now, chapter 2. Chapter 1 is not a big deal. That's just all about chapter 1. Chapter 2, that is when you're talking about description of establishment, where you did your Siwes. That one will not be the same for everybody, because not everybody did it in the same place. It may be different, but you follow the same procedure. So chapter 2, you have 2.0, description of establishment. You are describing your establishment. How does it look like? So 2.1 will be location and brief history. Location and brief history. Where is it located? Then brief. We said brief history. For instance, now we do it in maybe learning table water. You can say, okay, table water is located immediately after the school gate, the first turning by the right, then down so meters down the road, then we have the university table water there, and it was established in so place, so time. So write those brief history, just probably a page. Then 2. That was 2.1. 2.2 will now be objectives of establishment. That establishment, what purpose does it serve? What's their aims and objectives? You write that one too. Depending on what the services carried out in your establishment, that will actually let us know the objectives. Those ones are simple things. Then 2.3, we're talking about the departments and the various units. Oh, let me say structure. Yeah, 2.2 will be structure. Like, how does that place look like? They are not giving us the photograph of that place. This time around, you are giving us an organogram. organogram. You can see it has displayed on the screen. That's how an organogram look like. Organogram will just be like a sketch of, okay, we have the, if it's an hospital, for instance, we have the CMD, which is the chief medical director. After the CMD, we have doctors. After doctors, we have nurses. After nurses, we have pharmacists. You have to arrange them depending on their hierarchy from the highest ranked person to the lowest rank offices. That's how you have to um, break it down. The organogram looks like that. Now, if for instance you do it in a very big hospital, like UITH, for instance, University of Illinois Teaching Hospital. Now that we have various departments which may not be where you are attached, but that does not mean in your organogram they will not be included. They will be included in your organogram. You are telling us generally about the whole place, down to even where you did your own area of survey will also be included in one part. Do you understand? That is just organogram for you. Then 2.3, that is organization, department, the various department and units and their functions. Like, I will still use hospital as an example because I think that one is, you can easily relate, everybody can easily relate with hospital. Even if you don't do it in hospital, you can easily relate. Now, you want to talk about your establishment, you have already given us organogram in 2.2. So in 2.3, you are explaining the various departments. In hospital, you can have department like the ward, the nurses, ward sections, the pharmacies, the reception, and so on and so forth, down to the medical lab where possibly you may be attached. So you explain their functions one after the other. So that is all about chapter 2. The chapter 3 and 4 will now contain, you are reporting the work carried out exactly, what you actually did in your own unit when you are attached to, because that's the only place where you gain experience. So you are particularly talking about what you have done. Now that's why I said when I was explaining how to write a logbook, I said what's contained in your logbook must correlate with what is contained in your report. You must not contradict. Now, this is not even hard because you are telling us what you did, but it must be, like I said, in reporting speech. And you can make research on the standard procedures of how to carry out those tests or anything you did, so that you can gain knowledge more on those things. But it is not advisable that you consult textbooks, because this time around you are telling us directly what you did, not that you are copying from somewhere. No, this is what you did. How did you do it? Okay, PCV test. You want to talk about PCV test? Maybe that's what you start with. But for those who are doing it in hospital, I have experience of hospital. That's why I'm using hospital as I'm related to hospital. That's why I did my own. So I will advise them that if you want to report, chapter 3 and 4, I was actually attached in the medical laboratory section. So it is advisable that you arrange them section by section. We have the serology section, we have the hematology, we have the MCS, microscopic culture and sensitivity. We have the histopathology. If you have in your hospital various sections, so those tests, each test you do will actually be related to a section. For instance, now serology. Serology has to do with all these HIV tests, any test that involves body fluids, that's serology for you. Then the hematology, using blood directly. So you arrange them, like you want to talk about serology tests. So all the tests that body fluids are used for to carry out their um, test is what you put in those places. Then after you can say, okay, hematology test. Then we're talking about PCV, talking about full blood count, talking about blood grouping, and so on and so forth. So I want you to arrange it in that order so it makes sense like that. Then don't choke up your chapters too much. You may decide, maybe you have 16 that you want to explain. You can divide it into two. You talk about 3 in chapter 3, you talk about 3 in chapter 4, because chapter 3 and 4, we expected that you should explain everything you do in chapter 3 and 4. But for those of you that probably did it in an organization where you carry out maybe 2 things, or it is just one thing that you do. For instance, in pure water company now, what you're doing is just water purification and how you package it and all of those things. And that one is, you can even explain that one in the chapter. But I will just advise that you broaden everything you want to talk about so that it can contain 2 chapters. But it is not compulsory that you use chapter 4. If you know what you did, there was not really need for you to extend to chapter 4 explaining. You can just talk about chapter 3. Then your own chapter 4 will be what probably other write in their own chapter 5. Because your own chapter may not really need for you to use 2 chapters for it. It's understandable. So that is what will be contained in your chapter 3 and 4. Now, chapter 5 is summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Summary in one aspect. You're just summarizing everything. You're just summarizing what you have um in your reports, Siwes report. You're not summarizing everything. You're telling a summary of what Siwes is talking about, like your experience gained so far. Hey, let me put it that way. Summary can be experience gained, like the experience you gained. You can include that one in some. That during the course of my Siwes, I was able to do. I gained social experience concerning my course of study, which I was not exposed to before. You can write in that. Just summarize. Then conclusion. You are concluding that Siwes is okay. Then recommendation, you're recommending that any all students should undergo the CWA. You are recommending to people that it is a good scheme, that people should undergo it and take it serious and all of those things. So that is what will actually be contained in your CWS report, and simple as that. Then if you consulted textbooks, maybe one or two, you can put it as reference at the back. That reference, just put, it doesn't really need to be a long reference like that, because what you need to consult will be, sometimes it will be one textbook that you just consulted, probably when you wanted to write diagrams. Because if you are getting information from a textbook and you're writing in your report book, that information is not for you, it was from someone else. So it is just as good as you tell us where you got it from. So if there's any information, probably diagram or information about definition or anything according to a textbook that is in your report, you have to report it at the back as one of the reference. So it's just like 2 or 3 textbooks normally that I've seen in Siwes report over time, like 3 or 4 references that people used to have, not like um your seminar where you have long references ahead. So that is what you just have for Siwes report. So if you have any question, you can drop in the comment section. You can message me personally. My number is on the screen like that on WhatsApp. I can just put you through your how to write your report. So the next video I will be making, because I know these 2 things will come at the same time. Mainly you resume, you'll be writing your series, and you'll be rushed to write your seminar too. So my next video will be on how to write a seminar report, and that one is a quite it is a quite advanced that report, because your seminar report is talking about research journals or research papers, because you have quite a number of you have had their seminar topic already, like what you want to write your seminar on. Yes, sure of that. So you have been putting 1 or 2 things together, and you agree with me that those topics, they are not something you go and carry out to experiment about in the lab. It's just topics of someone will have talked about that thing before. For instance, now if someone is talking about for instance, my seminar topic was prebiotics and probiotics on gastrointestinal disorder. So prebiotics and probiotics, they are bacteria. So their effect on gastrointestinal disorder. So that's what I wrote my seminar on. So people have actually talked about that thing before over time. When I checked online, a lot of people have talked about it. So I'm just putting what they did together. That, okay, this person said this about it, that person said this about that. Then I put everything together. So that's why I call it research papers or research journals. These are research that you make online. Yeah, let me put it like that. You make those research online. So none of the information is coming from you particularly. Yes, none of those information in your seminar report is coming from you, unlike your Siwes. In your Siwes, you are saying everything from your head. It belongs to you. But your seminar is coming from somewhere. Someone said, so person said. Everything you write in your seminar will be according to someone. So everything must be referenced. Each paragraph must be referenced, because those things are not coming from your pocket. They're coming from somewhere. So it's a little bit advanced compared to seminar report. So in my next video, that's what we are going to be talking about. So till then, please kindly subscribe and put on the notifications so that next time I drop videos, you'll always be notified. Thank you.